Dear viewers, if there are any out there, I would like to welcome you to the third episode of our podcast, The Unqualified Opinion. In this episode, our guest is none other than Karl Marx himself. Well, Karl is a little bit older and out of favor, but he is still here. So, Karl, how were you all this time?
Well, comrade, it's been a long and curious afterlife. I've watched the world trade factories for follower counts, kings for CEOs, and the guillotine for terms of service violations. You've automated labor, digitized desire, and somehow convinced the working class to voluntarily live stream their alienation for likes. I asked for a revolution. You gave me TikTok. So, yes, I've been well, mostly pacing in the spectral dimension, muttering about commodity fetishism while someone in the background tries to pitch me NFTs of Das Kapital. But enough about me. How's Earth holding up under the dictatorship of the algorithm?
Well, it's been fucked up, but we are holding on. By the way, I forgot to introduce myself. I am Cyber Dyogenes, yours truly. Herabyte has run out of points, so vacation it is, or maybe she won't be coming back. Either way, let us start with new class struggle. Herr Marx, what do you see?
Cyber Diogenes. A pleasure. Finally, a cynic with a mic and no barrel. Let's talk about this new class struggle, shall we? Back in my time, the bourgeoisie were the factory owners, the railroad kings, the capitalists with cigars and top hats. The proletariat, the overworked masses in soot-covered overalls chained to machines. Now, the bourgeoisie wear hoodies and call themselves founders. The proletariat have ring lights, post twice a day, and call it building a brand. Class Struggle 2.0, the platform wars, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, they don't produce content, they extract it. They are the new landlords of attention. Creators? They're like 21st century peasants farming views on digital soil they don't own. You work. You hustle, you post, they monetize. And if you burn out, the algorithm doesn't mourn you, it replaces you. Under capitalism, you are not the customer, you are the product. Under platform capitalism, you're not even the product. You are the ad placement between two reels.
Well, that was deep. Too deep for my taste. But let me ask what you mean by bourgeoisie and proletariat. Why is Class Struggle 2.0 so similar to the one back in your days?
Yes. Let's break it down before someone accuses me of being too academic for the algorithm. Who are the bourgeoisie in my time? The ones who owned the factories, the banks, the railroads. They controlled the means of production, the stuff that makes stuff. Now, the ones who own the platforms, the data, the cloud, the infrastructure. Think big tech, venture capital, streaming giants. They control the means of distribution, which in the digital world is the production. And the proletariat, then? Workers who sold their labor for a wage. No ownership, no control, just the grind. Now, content creators, Uber drivers, remote workers, micro-taskers. Still no ownership. Just a new kind of labor. Emotional, creative, performative, but still for someone else's profit. So why does it still look the same? Because ownership never changed. It just rebranded. Old class struggle. You own the factory, I just work here. New class struggle. You own the platform, I am the content, and still, I can't pay rent. The bourgeoisie learned to gamify exploitation, likes instead of wages. Exposure instead of compensation, subscriptions instead of unions. You can put a ring light on it, but alienation is still alienation, my friend. And the worst part? The proletariat today thinks they're free because they picked their filter.
Man, I just realized that hosting you won't do me any favor in real life. But let's proceed. You mentioned influencers as a new proletariat. They are dealing with many issues like burnout and loss of creative meaning. What can you say about this? And was something like this present in your time?
Ah, yes, influencers, the proletariat with ring lights, burnout, and existential crises disguised as content strategy. Let me tell you something, Cyber Diogenes. Burnout is not a bug in the system, it's a feature. Influencer burnout equals alienation reloaded. You see, in my time, the alienation was physical. You worked 14 hours in a textile mill. You didn't own the cotton. You didn't control the loom. You didn't even see the final product. Now, influencers don't own the platform. They don't control the algorithm. And half the time, they don't even believe in what they post. They're alienated not from a product, but from themselves. Creative labor becomes commodified labor. Their thoughts, branded, their hobbies, monetized, their personality, fragmented for engagement. What was once art, expression, or even rebellion has become performance under pressure, shaped by analytics. You create for the algorithm, not for meaning, not even for yourself. And that, dear host, is what I'd call spiritual proletarianism. Was this present in my time? Oh, indeed, in a different form. A cobbler making hundreds of identical boots a day. He stopped seeing himself as a craftsman, a child in a coal mine. She never even knew she could be anything else. Today's content creators suffer from a different version. They know they're being exploited and still hit upload. It is not just labor that is exploited, it is being.
Don't you think there is more to it? Some intellectual power creating those platforms? And then surplus value or something? How do those platforms profit from influencers?
Ah, finally. Now we're digging into the digital abyss, where surplus value hides behind terms of service. You're absolutely right, Cyber Diogenes. There is more to it. Behind every platform, every creator economy, there's not just a server farm and some VC bros. There's a structure of extraction. And yes, it's intellectual, it's intentional, and it's absolutely about profit. Surplus value, the ghost in the machine. In my old school terms, surplus value is the difference between what a worker is paid and the value their labor produces. That extra value goes straight into the pockets of the owner, not the worker. In modern terms, an influencer makes a video that earns millions of views. The platform pays them a tiny cut, fractions of a penny per view. Meanwhile, advertisers pay thousands to put ads next to that content. The platform profits off the creator's effort without creating anything themselves. That gap, that sweet, sweet gap, is digital surplus value. So who creates the value? The creator does the writing, filming, editing, posting. The audience gives the attention. The algorithm does the matching. But the platform owns the infrastructure, the user base, the monetization system, the data. So who captures the lion's share of the profit? Not the creator, not the audience, just the middleman. Is it just code? Or is it control? You asked about intellectual power, and yes, absolutely. There's a new elite, the engineers, data scientists, UX architects, monetization strategists, the modern digital bourgeoisie. They don't need to whip laborers. They write algorithms that do the whipping invisibly. Surplus value now hides in user agreements, not sweatshops, though sadly the sweatshops haven't gone anywhere either. So when you post a reel and make $12 while the platform earns $12,000, you didn't get monetized, you got optimized for someone else's profit.
Well, that's a lot of shit talking about the platforms where you will be uploaded. But we are all about that here, getting canceled. So tell me, at present, would you be canceled?
Would I be cancelled in 2025? Absolutely, without hesitation, probably by lunch. Let's see, I talk about class war, too aggressive, promoting division. I critique private ownership, anti-entrepreneur. I question billionaires. Jealous socialist with a beard fetish. I mention abolishing anything. Flagged for dangerous ideology. Hell, I'd get shadow banned before my third quote left the TikTok caption box. Reasons for my cancellation in today's world: promoting extremism. I literally wrote about overthrowing the system. Now that's just a red flag and a content violation. Disinformation. Imagine trying to explain surplus value in 60 seconds without triggering the algorithm's economic misinformation scanner. Not brand safe. Sponsors don't like talking about exploitation unless it's in a historical documentary they can slap an ad on. Too intellectual. Honestly, just using words like material conditions or commodity fetishism gets half the audience to scroll. Tragic. But here's the spicy irony, dear cyber Diogenes. The very platforms that would cancel me profit from the very things I warned about. They need discontent. They feed on rebellion, so long as it's digestible, trendy, and monetizable. They'd cancel me from the front page and sell a Karl Marx themed t-shirt on the next one. Late capitalism sells the revolution, one ad break at a time.
Fuck, man. I got a feeling for a second that Andrew Tate might be around. Not sure that you described his audience. But let us proceed. Let us talk about hustle culture and toxic positivity. Why do we grind, smile, and burn out, all for a dream we didn't design?
Ah, yes, hustle culture. The capitalist bedtime story we repeat to ourselves until burnout feels like success. You ask why we grind, smile, and burn out for a dream not of our making? Because we were taught that suffering is progress and rest is laziness. Because we replaced meaning with metrics, and now we chase dopamine disguised as productivity. Hustle culture equals self-exploitation on autopilot. Let me be blunt, cyber Diogenes. Hustle culture is capitalism's greatest magic trick. It makes you exploit yourself and feel guilty when you stop. You wake up to a motivational quote. You spend your day grinding. You're told to smile through the stress because you're building something. But what are you really building? A brand, a following, a dream, or just another line on someone else's quarterly report? Toxic positivity, the bright side of alienation. Just be positive. Good vibes only. Failure is part of the journey. These are the spiritual Red Bulls of capitalism. Sugary lies that keep you moving when your soul is tired. Toxic positivity is the emotional arm of exploitation. It teaches you that doubt equals weakness, and that pain is a you problem, not a system problem. Why do we keep doing it? Because the system is built to keep you busy so you don't ask questions, keep you tired so you don't resist, keep you smiling so you don't scare the sponsors. Back in my day, they used religion to tell you your reward came after death. Now they use LinkedIn and tell you your reward comes after your 18th side hustle goes viral. So I ask you, cyber Diogenes, is this a culture of empowerment, or is it the most polite, well-lit cage we've ever built?
Dostoevsky have said the best way to keep a prisoner from escaping is to make sure he never knows he's in prison. He was a very smart man. Have to bring him here. It will be kind of hard because of sanctions and all. You get the point? Now let us mention the bit tech. Their role, how they shape world, digital, spiritual, and real world around.
Ah, Dostoevsky, my melancholic brother in arms. Yes, he nailed it. Don't show the bars, just make the cell feel like home. That's how you build a prison without walls. And who's the warden now? Let's talk about big tech. Big tech, the new superstructure, overlords. Back in my day, we said, the economic base shapes the cultural superstructure, meaning whoever owns the stuff shapes the story. Now, the economic base is data, the superstructure is code, and the new ruling class, engineers, designers, data scientists, and platform oligarchs. They don't just shape production, they shape reality. 1. They shape the digital world. Algorithms decide what you see, what you hear, and what you feel about it. Information isn't free. It's ranked, weighted, filtered, sold. You think you chose what to watch next. You were guided there, gently, invisibly, profitably. Big tech owns the roads, and you're just another car with a camera. 2. They shape the spiritual world. You meditate with apps. You pray on live streams. You mourn with memorial pages. Your memories? cloud-based. The soul has been virtualized. Even silence is now an aesthetic you schedule between notifications. Big tech turned stillness into content gaps. 3. They shape the real world. They influence elections. They set the rules for free speech. They write the code that writes the laws. In the 19th century, kings and capitalists controlled the land. In the 21st, they control the terms and conditions. Your job application, your mortgage, your citizenship status, processed, ranked, decided by systems you'll never see. Big tech didn't just build the system, they built the illusion of choice inside the system. They made the matrix, and then gave you a shopping cart and a Reels feed. Tell me, Cyber Diogenes, when even rebellion is brought to you by Amazon Prime, what's left that hasn't been productized? Or are we all just beta testers in late-stage capitalism?
World of illusions. That's how it sounds to me. The last question I have is about the workers. What do you see? What can you say about them today compared back to your time?
Yes, the workers. You've asked the question that matters most. Not the platforms, not the algorithms, not even the billionaires. The workers, then and now. Then, chains and coal dust. The worker was visible. His suffering was physical. He was a body in a factory. He knew he was exploited. He felt it in his bones, lungs, and blistered hands. He worked 12, 14, 16 hours a day. He didn't own the machines. He didn't choose the hours. He had a boss, a foreman, and a future that looked like more soot and shorter life. But he knew he was a worker. He knew who the enemy was. Now, laptops and latte breakdowns. Today's worker? She's a freelancer, a content creator, a call center rep in a bedroom lit by an RGB keyboard. He's a rideshare driver, a coder, a ghostwriter for AI-generated posts. Their suffering? Cognitive, emotional, invisible. Their pain isn't in broken bones. It's in burnout, anxiety, insecurity, and existential dread. They don't work with tools. They are the tool. And worst of all, they often don't even realize they're workers. They think they're entrepreneurs. They think they're brands. They think hustling is freedom. The most brilliant trick of the system was convincing the workers that they'd already escaped it. But there's hope, always hope, because cracks are forming. People are asking questions. Unions are rising again, in coffee shops and code bases. Whispers of solidarity echo across Discord servers and subreddit threads. A class in itself is becoming a class for itself. That's when change begins. The workers of today are tired, overworked, disoriented, but not defeated. They are not disposable. They are not brands. They are not data points. They are the ones who still create everything, even when they own nothing.
Marx, it was a pleasure to have you here. We are getting closer to being canceled with every episode. We just don't have many viewers for that to happen. But I feel that you will play a great part in achieving that. For the end, is there any quote of yours that you would like to share? Something that would be of great value today?
Cyber Diogenes, the pleasure was all mine. Rare to find a place these days where you can speak truth without a sponsored segment following it. And yes, let me leave your dozen brave listeners, or perhaps just the one disillusioned intern at Spotify, with this. Philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The point, however, is to change it. It's the final line of my thesis on Feuerbach, and it's never aged a day. Interpretation. Everyone does that now. Podcasts, blogs, think pieces, hot takes. But change? Change is hard. It's dangerous. It's uncool. But it's necessary. So, to those out there listening, if you're tired, broke, confused, if you feel something's wrong but can't name it, if you've been told it's your fault, just know it's not you, it's the system, and systems can be changed. Until next time, stay suspicious, stay skeptical, and remember, not all revolutions are televised, but some are uploaded as podcasts.